One, obviously, the criteria that I listed here can and will be expanded. I certainly support changing the posted on or near the front door of every public school to strike El Cerrito and say all feeder schools of Portola, at Portola, and at El Cerrito High School. I'd like to point out to the gentleman who is concerned about the noise and distraction of the BART trains that I absolutely agree with you. And one of our main competitors, one of the places where our middle school students in El Cerrito go when they decide not to go to Portola is to Albany Middle School on the BART tracks. Smaller acreage than Fairmont, more students than we project at Fairmont, and smaller playing fields. So, you know, I appreciate your consideration and I respect it, and I don't want to build a school that is distracting and unsuitable. I want to build a better school than Albany Middle School because I want to bring our kids back. But what we need to understand is that ultimately, if we build a seismically safe school with enough room and we put excellent academic programs inside it, the people will come. So, I'd like to say to somebody else who mentioned whether or not we could sell the property either at Portola or at Fairmont or wherever to fund another school. The way we are currently regulated by the state is that the property, any property we sell, any property that we sell in the district must be used toward the payment of our loan. We have no choice about that. So if we sell a corner of Portola and we make $100,000, it goes to pay off our state loan. If we sell the entire Portola site and make several $1 million, it goes toward paying off our state loan. So it just doesn't matter what we think we're going to do. Anything we sell goes to that point. I would like to reiterate again what my colleague Mr. Ramsey said, is that in a closed session board meeting several months ago, we discussed the concept of eminent domain. We took a straw vote. There was unanimous agreement that this board would not force anyone out of their homes, that we did not wish to evoke eminent domain. Now, where that rumor came from is anybody's guess. We do have the right of eminent domain, and we could choose to use eminent domain, but I don't believe there was any intent on this board ever to do that. Now, one of the things I said to Mr. Chan privately that I'll now repeat publicly is that let us say that this board chose to build a middle school at Fairmont and one or two residents chose not to sell their property. They would soon find it surrounded by a middle school, and that might not be so pleasant. But that would certainly be that individual's choice if it were my decision. I would like to ask the gentleman who talked about weighing criteria to look up my email and or phone number and give me a call tomorrow or over the weekend, because if you have some experience with that kind of weighting, I'd really like to just learn your ideas. I'd like to have a 10, 15-minute conversation with you where you could tell me what your ideas are, because I'd be really interested in that. Somebody else asked what would happen to the library. I've had numerous discussions with city council members in El Cerrito. There seems to be a strong support for putting the library on the lower Portola yard. The city very much hopes that we will wind up building a middle school on or near some kind of property that they own, so that they can do a swap with us, because they would like to cluster their city buildings, the swimming pool, the community center, the library, the senior citizen center, in that area. Now, I don't know how you feel about that. It certainly seems like a good idea to me, and I'm not in the position of telling the city at all what to do. But my conversations indicate that that would be something that your elected city council people do favor. And it is, of course, complicated and beyond me. I would like to ask people to let me know, board members, but also community members. This meeting for developing criteria, I think, will be fairly lengthy, and I am thinking that perhaps we should try to find a Saturday on which to do that, so that we didn't run into the lateness of the hour and might have a bit more energy. So if people in the community could, again, email or phone me and let me know their choices on that, we'll think about it. Finally, I want to say that we are in the position of needing to have a balanced budget, and we must balance our budget. We don't have an option. It's not just because we have a state trustee. Any of you here at the last meeting know that we must submit our budget to the County Office of Education, and that if we don't balance our budget, it bounces right back and they say do better. This district has balanced its budget on the back of its teachers for quite some time. We don't pay our teachers enough. I think everybody on the board knows that. I think everybody in the room knows that. The question is, how are we going to fix it? My suggestion would be that we all pay a little more taxes and that we all lean on our legislators and have California fund education better than the other 48 states who fund education better than we do. Now, since that isn't going to happen soon, this board has to make a choice. We're going to come out with equal signs at the bottom. We got so much cash coming from the state, federal programs, and our parcel tax, and we have these expenses. We can give our teachers a raise of 1%, 2%, 0%, 3%, 5%. A lot of numbers have been kicked around, even the 7.5% or 7.9% that the union has been strong about. And the fact is, you're going to see our budget tonight. And those of you who are good at numbers, please look. Ms. Vitavelli is our wizard, and she's also a wonderful person in explaining and talking about these numbers. In the meantime, we are either going to pay our teachers more and find that money someplace else. And that someplace else, one of the options is to close 1, 2, 3, 4 or more small schools. Fairmont is a small school. There are a number of other small schools. Again, attendance is public record. If any of you want to know how many students go to every school, will you please contact Mr. Ihara, our public information officer. I'm sure he will be able to get you that information. It's not a secret. Look at those schools that are under 300. Those are small schools. We need to close some of those schools if we're going to give our teachers the raise they want. If you think you can look at that budget and find the money someplace else, come on down. Come down to the Citizens Advisory Subcommittee next Tuesday night at Alvarado. Mr. Cowan, if he's still here, chairs that meeting. He can talk to you about it. He can talk to you very knowledgeably about the budget. Ms. Vitavelli can talk to you very knowledgeably about the budget. Come on down. Tell me where we find the money. Tell me how to not close schools and give our teachers a raise, and I will fix you the best dinner you've had lately. I'm sorry I've talked so long. Mr. Ramsey, it's your turn.